Hello everyone, welcome to this tutorial. In this tutorial, we are going to discuss a problem which is called the longest common prefix. So as the name suggests, in this problem, we need to find the longest common prefix among the given strings. So yeah, let's start by first understanding the problem statement in detail. Then we'll look at some sample examples, the input and the output format. And finally, we will look at the most efficient code for this problem. Okay, so let's get started. So the problem statement is we are given the array of strings, which is a array A, and we need to find the longest string S, which is the prefix of all the strings in the array. So as you can see, there is very much importance given to the word all. So this is what they mean by the word common prefix. And what is a prefix? Prefix is a text which is at the beginning, which starts from the very beginning of the string. Okay. So longest common prefix of a pair string S1 and S2 is the longest string S, which is the prefix of both S1 and S2. So this is the definition of longest common prefix. So let's understand this with the help of an example. So suppose the two strings are A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H and A, B, C, E, F, G, H. Okay. So as you can see, the longest common prefix. So what is prefix? Even A is prefix, AB is prefix, ABC is prefix, ABCD is prefix, and so on. Every string that can start from the first letter in a consecutive manner is considered to be a prefix. But what do we mean by the common prefix? The prefix which is common to both. So as you can see, A is common to both. Okay, so but it is not the longest. We can still get the longest. What is larger than that? AB. So then we get AB. Again, it is just length 2. We can get a longer prefix. So we check ABC. Yeah, it is common in both. Then we check ABCD. But as you can see, there is no D, there is E. Okay, so it doesn't mean that we can take A, B, C, E because it is here. No, we want the common prefix, and A, B, C, E is not a valid prefix for this string. So that's why we output ABC, which is the longest common prefix among these two strings. So in this example, we have just considered two strings. Okay, but what do we need to solve it for? We are given an array of strings. It can be 10 string, it can be thousands of strings, and then we need to output the longest common prefix string among all those strings. Okay, so as you can see here, we have three strings in a given example. First is A, B, C, D and so on. Second is A, E, F, G and so on, and third is A, B, C, E, F, G and so on. So one would say that yeah, longest common prefix could be AB because it is here, but it is not here. Okay, so that's why it's not a common prefix, because we need to find the common prefix which is among all the strings in the given array and not just any two. Okay, so that's why A is common in all. Okay, then A is a possible answer. Then we check AB. No, AB is not here and AB is here. But even if one of the string is not having it as a valid prefix, we cannot take it as the common prefix. So that's why we output A. Okay, just pause it for a while. Take some examples of your own and you will definitely understand what the problem statement is asking you to solve. Let's take input 2. AB, AB, AB and ABCD. Okay, so as you can see, even though this is the string which is AB, we cannot get a larger prefix, as simple as that. So the answer would be AB, because as you can see, it is the common prefix in all the given strings. Okay, so longest common prefix of all the strings is AB. Okay, so just take some examples of 10 strings. What if one is AB, one is ABCD, one is ABCDEFG and so on, but ultimately the common prefix would be the prefix which is common among all the given strings in the array. Okay, so yeah, so first let's understand the very simple logic of how can we understand whether this is a valid prefix or not. Okay, so first of all, as we have already discussed the definition of a prefix, that any string that starts from the beginning of the string, any set of characters which starts from the beginning of the string and in a consecutive manner we can traverse it till the end, then it becomes a valid prefix. So if I give you this single string, all the valid prefix for this would be A, AB, ABC, ABCD, ABCDE, ABCDEF, ABCDEFG, ABCDEFG, H, all the strings starting from the first character till the end. Okay, all such strings will be the valid prefixes. But what we want the common prefix, that is, it should be valid prefix among all the strings in the given array, and then we need to find the longest, because as you can see in this case, even A is a common prefix, A. But what we want the longest possible common prefix, and that's why the answer is AB and not A. Okay, so very logically speaking, One solution could be just traverse all the strings character by character and check whether what amount of characters are matching for each of the strings, and that can be the output, right? Just check string 1, s of 0, s1 of 0, s2 of 0, s3 of 0, and so on. If all are equal, then take that character as the prefix. Then check s1 of 2, s1 of 1, s1 of 2, s1 of 3, and so on. Okay, in that manner you can just check all the strings and you can conclude that yeah, it is common among all the strings. But the complexity of this code, you may just pause it for a while, you can think on your own. Okay, what would be the complexity of this particular code, where you're just checking the first character of all the strings, then you're checking the second character of all the strings, and so on? Just pause it for a while. Okay, in this case, the worst case complexity would be length of the largest string multiplied by what? Multiplied by number of strings. Okay, that is the size of the array. So this, as you can see, it is a very high complex or a very huge complexity based problem. Okay, so that's why we need to find a very better approach or a very time efficient approach. So this is the logic that we are going to take into consideration, and I'll explain you why this is as simple as doing these many steps. Okay, so first of all, loop through each of the strings in the vector, taking 2 at a time. Okay, so let's understand what I mean by this. This is the given array. Just loop through all the strings, taking only 2 at a time. Okay, but the catch here is we are not comparing all the possible pairs. So when I tell you take two strings at a time, I don't mean that take these two, and take these two. No, I'm not talking about all the possible combinations. I'm just talking about in sequence. Why? The catch, you will get it as we proceed with the solution. Then just maintain a variable c equals to 0 that stores the count of the common prefix characters. Okay, so c is just storing how many characters or how many what is the length of the common prefix. Why? Just think it for a while and then you can resume this video. So the question is, why just keeping a track of the count can give us the final answer? Okay, why not taking the entire string characters but only the count? Okay, so we hope that you have paused it for a while and thought on your own. So why just having a count will help us understand what is the common prefix? Let's come back to the problem. Suppose I keep a count of 2, that yeah, first character is matching, second character is matching. So I don't keep a track of the characters, but I only track the number of characters that are common. Then how can I find the common prefix from that count? Just think for a while. Okay, so as the name suggests, common prefix. Okay, so as it is common among all the strings, isn't it so that we can just take that count and traverse any of the string from beginning till those many characters? I hope that you have got it. So suppose we count that there are 2 common characters in the prefix. So I can pick up any string among the array and I can just take the first 2 characters and I can declare my answer as yeah, this is the answer. Why? Because as per the definition of common prefix, we know that any characters from the start of the string that is common among each of the strings, that is the common prefix. Okay, and that's why just keeping a track of the number of characters can give us the final answer. So that's the first point. So as simple as that, we don't have to keep a track of the entire string. We just need the number of characters from the beginning and then we can ultimately find the prefix. Okay, for each of the pair of strings, maintain 2 different indices to traverse each of the 2 strings. Okay, this I'll help you understand while writing the code. Each time the characters match, move to the next for both the strings, else break the loop and take the next string. Okay, so the point number 4 or the step number 4 is the most important step, which is making our code very much efficient. So why do I mean by okay, let's come to the point 3. For each of the pair of strings, maintain 2 different indices to traverse each of the 2 strings. Okay, so suppose we are taking into consideration these 2 strings. Take one I index for this, j index for this, and just compare it character by character. S1 of I matches with S2 of j, and so on. So keep repeating this until and unless you get the common characters. Once the character is not common among any of the 2 strings, just break it. Why? Because we know that yeah, we cannot find a common prefix at this length and there's no need to traverse it forward. Okay, as simple as that. So each time the loop breaks, update the value of the mx variable with the minimum of the current value and the newly obtained value c, and make c equals to 0. Again, the step number 5 is, it might look very complicated, but when we will be coding, you will understand why I am performing this step. So just to help you, what I'm trying to explain you is, suppose let's edit this problem so that I can explain you that particular case. Okay, so suppose the given array was of this form. Okay, so what I'm doing, I'm just explaining you point number 5, and then you will get the entire solution. So suppose I take these two strings. Okay, I check A is matching in these strings. Okay, B is matching, C is matching. So what I'll do, I'll take a count. My current count would be the number of characters that are matching, which is c equals to 3. Okay, but as you can see, c equals to 3 is not a valid answer because A is matching but B is not matching here. So answer should be 1, right? Answer should be only first character, but I am getting c equals to 3. That's why we need this particular step. Each time the loop breaks, update the value of mx with the minimum of the current value and the newly obtained value of c. So what I'm trying to explain you is, suppose you have got c equals to 3, your mx will become 3. Then you loop between these two strings. Okay, then you pick up these two strings and you compare it character by character. So the new c becomes 1 because first character matches, but c remains 1. C doesn't become 2. Why? Because the second character is not matching. And that's why by doing the step 5, your mx would be mx equals to minimum of mx comma current c, which would be minimum among 3 comma 1, which will be 1, and this will give the final answer. Why? Because as you can see, only the character that is common to all will be fitting into the minimum function. If we take the maximum function, then any two strings which are having some characters common, it will pick up that, and we don't want it because that would give a wrong answer. Okay, so that's why this minimum function is very important, so that we can handle the case that even if only two strings are having it as common, we can neglect it with the help of the third string, and so that we can track the common characters only. So finally, return the first mx characters of any of the strings as the least common prefix string. Okay, as simple as that. So once you get the final count, just return those many characters from any of the strings in this array, and that would be answer. So here we get 1 as the minimum as the count of mx. Just return the first character from any of the string. Why are we sure that returning it from any of the string would work? Because as I've already told you that it is a common prefix. So each of the strings in the array will have those many characters in the beginning as common, and which is the required answer. Okay, so even if you have not understood it that well, just pause it for a while. Again, start from the beginning, and you will definitely understand the logic that I'm trying to explain you. So let's go to the coding section and understand how to code this particular problem. Okay. So as discussed, this will take an array of string as input. So let's first define that. So let's have a vector of string, and let's call it input, and let's define that. So let's take this example only, this particular example, the first one, ABC D E F G, first string. Second would be A B D E F G, and third string would be A D E F G. Okay, so as you can see here, the answer should be A. Why? Because only A is common among all the strings, rest it is not matching, right? So we cannot say that it is a common prefix, so answer would be A. But we'll check what is the answer, and let's call the method where we will perform this functionality. So cout common prefix, and we are calling this method with the input string array. Okay, and this will return us the final answer. Okay, so now all we need to do is write our logic within this particular function, and remember that we are printing it as it is, so it should return a string, which would be the common prefix, right? So it will return string common prefix, and it will take a vector of string as input, which is what we are calling it with. Let's call it A. Okay, now our complete problem reduces to just implementing these steps to get it solved. Okay, so the final answer we will store in a string result, and we will initialize it with empty because currently there is no such character which is we know that is common. Next, what we do, we find the number of strings in the array by just making use of a simple method called int n equals to a dot size, because if a is the vector, then a dot size returns the number of elements in the vector, that is simply the size of the vector. Let's make it equals to, okay, great, int mn equals to int max and c equals to 0. Okay, so let me explain you the functionality of these two variables. Let's do this. Okay, so first of all, mn I am taking to keep a track of the common characters among all the strings. Okay, and what I am taking c for, again to keep a track of the common characters but between the two given strings. Keep a track of the common characters between the two strings under consideration. Okay, so this you will understand as we proceed with the code. Okay, so just understand what I'm trying to do. So let's handle the base case first. If n equals to 0, so n equals to 0 means there are no strings in the array. So if there are no strings, what would be the longest common prefix? Just think it for a while. The longest common prefix would be nothing. So we'll just return an empty string. Okay, now suppose if there is only one element in the string, again just pause it for a while and you will get the answer. So if there is only one string present in the array, the length of the largest common prefix would be the length of that string itself, right? Because it is the string alone present in that. So that would be a of 0, which is the first string, dot, yeah, we'll return that string only. And finally, if it is not any of these two cases, means there are minimum two strings present, then we will write our logic. So we will initialize the variable s1 equals to a0. So s1 is keeping a track of the first string, okay, a of 0, as simple as that. Now you will understand why just picking the two strings is helping us get the work done. So what I'm trying to explain you, if we are looking for a common prefix among all the strings, doesn't that mean that if it is common between any two strings, we can just pick the third string with this second string and move forward, right? There is no need to check all the possible combinations. That's what I'm trying to explain, because if we check all the possible combination, I've already explained you what the complexity would be. All we need to make sure is we are picking up two strings, then we are moving forward and we are picking the remaining two strings and we are moving forward in that manner. And this you will definitely understand as we write this code. So for int I equals to 1, I is less than n, I plus plus. What I'm doing, I'm just traversing the entire set of strings, starting from the second string to the last string. Why not first string, a of 0? Because that I've already taken into s1. Okay, and let's initialize s2, which is the second string under consideration, as a of I. What do I mean by a of I? The current string. This particular index I is keeping a track of the current string that we are talking about. So we are always comparing the first string and the ith string, and then we are concluding the common characters between them. So let me repeat it again, because this is a very important point. Fixing this particular string and comparing it with this, then with this, and then with the remaining strings will also work. Why? Because we are looking for common characters. So if we are saying that it is common among all, it should be common with this string as well, and that solves our problem. So the major thing that is reducing the complexity to a huge extent is just comparing first string with all the strings, rather than comparing this string with this with this, third with fourth with fifth, and all these combinations. So it's reducing the complexity from exponential to linear, and that's a huge impact. Okay, so that's why this particular algorithm that I'm writing is very important and very efficient as well. Let's keep a track of two indices, as I mentioned, j equals to 0, k equals to 0. Which step I'm talking about? This. Maintain for each of the pair of strings, maintain two different indices to traverse each of the two strings. Okay, this you will understand shortly. Okay, so while j is less than s1 dot size, why I'm doing so? Because I need to traverse the first string with the index j. So what is the last size that I can move to? That is the string size, right? Beyond that I cannot traverse a particular string. Similarly, k is less than s2 dot size. So here I am handling that k should stop wherever the second string ends. And if, as simple as this, if s1 of j equals to s2 of what? K, because k we are using to keep a track of the second string, and j we are using to keep a track of the first string. At any point of time, if you think that it is very complicated, just pause it for a while and start from 2 to 3 minutes back, and you will definitely understand what I am referring to j and k as well. Okay, so if both the characters keep matching, just increment the count to c++. Why? Because these are the common characters and we need to keep a track of this count. Else, just break the loop. Break from which loop? Let's put a bracket. It is a great practice to always keep a bracket. Okay, so break from which loop? From this particular loop. Why? Because the characters are no more matching, so there is no possibility of getting the common prefix ahead, and we can conclude that for these two strings the number of common characters are c, right? So that's why we'll do this. Else, if it is not fitting in else, just do j++ and k++. Why? Because if the characters are matching, then it will not get into the else block, and we will just move ahead in both the strings. So we are just incrementing both the indices, as I've explained. Now this is again the most important point. So mn equals to minimum among mn comma c. Let's pause it for a while and think what I have explained you here, this particular part, and you will definitely understand what I'm talking about. So just remove mn here. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I am keeping a track of the maximum number of characters that are common. That's why I'm using the minimum function here. And finally, just put c equals to 0. Why? Because there is no need to update the c. We need to set it to 0 once again for the remaining two set of strings. Okay, and finally, as we have got the number of common characters between each of the strings, we'll just use this number and traverse from the beginning into any of the string to get the required prefix string. So let's take let's traverse this string, any of the string. So I'll take the first string in a temp variable, string temp equals to a of 0. This is the first string. Now I'll traverse this string from the beginning. For how many characters? For mn number of characters, right? Because those are the number of characters that are common among all the strings. Okay, so let me help you understand what I'm going to do. I'll set int I equals to 0 while mn minus minus res plus equals to temp of I, and finally I plus plus. Okay, so let me help you understand what is this part. Let's comment here. Now take the first mn characters of any of the strings, and that will be the required common prefix. Okay, as simple as that. So what are we doing? We are taking the first string temp, we are taking a index I equals to 0, and we are traversing the first mn characters of this string, and we are appending this to the required result string. And finally, the last step, we will just return this result string. Let's call it res here because I followed that convention. Okay, so let's just first run this to check whether our code is running fine or not. Okay, so we are getting some errors here. Let's understand what the problem is. Okay. Okay, so let's see what happens. We are again. Okay, so we need to typecast it here because we are dealing with integers. Yes, and we have got an answer A. A is the common prefix among all these strings. Let's check whether this was expected or not. Yes, this was expected. Why? Because A, B, C, D, A, B, D, and A, D, E, F, G all are having only A as a common prefix. But now let's check for some other case. A, B, C, D, E, F. So let's remove E from here, and A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. Okay, so what should be the answer? A, B, C, D. A, B, C, D should be the answer. Let's check whether what our code returns. Yeah, it returns A, B, C, D. As simple as that. So code is running fine. All I request you is to just pause it for a while at steps where you think you are not comfortable with. Traverse this algorithm that I've explained, and then you will definitely understand the logic behind the problem. This step is important. I'll just write a comment for your reference that keep a track of the common prefix length in mn. As simple as that. Okay, so yeah, we hope that you have found this very much useful. Thanks for listening. Bye bye.